What's up, everybody, and welcome to the On the Runs YouTube channel, where we're going to be dropping some of our awesome guest appearances from the podcast. And on this episode, we have episode 50 with the man, Ryan Van Duzer. And this was a year ago, Erika, when we finally got to talk to him. And I say finally, like I waited. I was like, we need to be ready. And not only were we ready, we're now at 100 episodes, but we're just dropping it on YouTube for the first time. Are you excited? Because this was fun.
I'm so excited. I had an absolute blast talking to Duzer, and it's going to be so much fun to relive it and rewatch it at the same time. So
yeah, I don't think you're going to love rewatching it because your face the whole time is like this. But guys, enjoy.
I'll go like this.
Yeah.
On my face, and then I'll watch everybody else.
So guys, enjoy our episode 50 with Ryan Van Duzer, and then check out more because we also just dropped episode 100 with the amazing Catherine Switzer. So enjoy, guys, and thank you for watching our YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. Enjoy Ryan Van Duzer. Ryan, this is one of my best friends, Erika. Ryan.
Pleasure to meet you. Heard so much about you.
Right on. I'm excited.
So
don't mess up this intro now. I know you got like a speech ready to perform.
No pressure or anything.
Erika, how many times do I mess up the intro and redo it later?
It's okay.
At least like 2 or 3 every time. It's fine.
I mean,
he always nails it.
You ready? We're excited. This is number 50.
50.
50, the big 50. All right, here we go. All right. Our next guest on the pod for number 50 is someone we've mentioned just a few times here. If he's not in Boulder, Colorado, he's usually getting out there on an exciting adventure, sharing it with all of us on his YouTube channel. You'll soon learn that his first love in life was running, and we're so excited to have him on the podcast. Ryan Van Duzer, welcome to On the Runs.
Thank you.
I think I need to fangirl for a second. Oh, no.
I might do a lot of screaming.
You scream, and I was about to do a little kind of thing in the background.
I'm psyched.
So yeah, Ryan, we are so psyched to have you here. You may or may not know, but I think Eric might have a little dude crush on you. Sorry to throw you under the bus, bud.
I think he knows. And
I know. We've had some romantic moments by the sea together.
That's right, we did. We went to a nice place for dinner. You remember that?
Yeah.
I feel so left out.
Oh.
Well, next time I go to your neck of the woods, we'll go to the ocean.
That's fair. We can do a run. That would be more fun.
Okay,
I would enjoy
sounds
that.
good.
So, Ryan, a fun little fact I found out today because Facebook memories. 1 year ago today, we did our first interview for the podcast. Our first real interview of someone of maybe importance or a professional runner. I don't know if you ever heard of Addie's a runner, but we had Addie on, and I find it so cool that was 1 year ago today, and I shared that with Erika because she's been like, let's get Duzer. I'm like, let's figure this out. Let's get ready before we just bring him on for episode 2, you know?
I would have done episode 2. I love you guys. This is fun.
That's super kind of you to say. But yeah, we've been practicing. We've been trying to establish our identity, and I think we finally figured it out. So I'm glad that you could finally join us for the Big 50.
I am excited to be here.
So let's get into running because your first love in life is running, and we are a running podcast, and we love stories, and you are a storyteller. So why don't you tell us about how you fell in love with running when you were, I think, 6 years old?
Yeah, you got it. I was a little guy. So I grew up in Boulder, Colorado, which is a very running-centric community. Lots of elite runners in this town. I went to an elementary school, and that school had a yearly 1-mile race called the Mile Marathon. And we would train for it in gym class. It was at the end of the year in May when it was beautiful and sunny outside. And I took the Mile Marathon very seriously. You know, most kids were like, yeah, I'm going to go run. And we get free popsicles and stuff. But I was like, I'm going to win. And so I was like, that was kind of like it kicked off my competitive spirit. Like I was a pretty fast runner in gym class. And that race was exciting. And not only was it exciting to run and be part of the energy of a race for the first time ever in my life, but since Boulder is the town that it is, a lot of the famous elite runners would come to the race and mill around with the students and then afterwards go into the classes and talk to us and answer our questions about running. And so I got to meet some old legends back in the day, Rosa Mota, 4-time winner of the Boston Marathon, and Arturo Barrios, the Mexican 10K world record holder for a long time.
No way.
And so, yeah, it was very exciting. Those people were my heroes. I know I grew up in Colorado, and everybody thought John Elway was cool, but I thought Rosa Mota was cool.
That is wicked cool. I wish somebody had done that for me when I was younger, because I didn't get into running until my after college years, and just something like that to spark your interest and to keep you interested. I really wish that something like that had happened for us.
Definitely, I was fortunate to go to this school, be part of this community. After that race, the mile marathon, it would happen every year. It was Memorial Day weekend, and one of the biggest 10Ks in the country happens that weekend, the Boulder Boulder.
Yes.
I will never forget my first experience running that race. One of my friends had an extra entry to the race, and I was in first grade, so 6 years old. And he's like, Ryan, you can have this. And I had to ask my mom permission, and she's like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? My son is going to go run 6.2 miles. And it was exciting. And the Boulder Boulder also I credit with getting me into running. And again, it goes back to the spirit in the community. The start line is really exciting. There's thousands of people. You're running through the streets of Boulder. You finish the race in the university stadium here in town. And it's just exciting.
That's kind
I
of
can
like
feel
your
the rush. The Goffstown.
That's kind of like your Goffstown Gallop, Erika, your hometown race, the first race you ever ran, the one that got you to fall in love with running and that you'll never miss again. And I don't know if you've missed it since then, Ryan, but you tend to run that race every year, and you talk about it quite a bit. You even kind of you do a lot for the town and the city now with your YouTube channel and just your social media to promote that race and to help others get involved, right?
Yeah, I've been involved with that race for years. I've done some of the broadcasting. And, they're silly enough to give me a microphone in the stadium and to let me go live in front of 30,000 people. And, it's just, it's a lot of fun. I run the race. I train and I take it seriously. So I always tell the Boulder Boulder, I will do the broadcasting, but I have to run it. Like, that's part of the deal. So I run it, in one of the first waves, finish early. Then they hand me a microphone and I start working. And I love it. I often tell people that's my Christmas day, the Boulder Boulder. It brings out the best of our community. There's 50,000 people running. They have some of the best runners in the world come to this race. There's barbecues and parties along the course, just like the Boston Marathon. And it's the kickoff of summer. It's warm and exciting and beautiful. And I look forward to the Boulder Boulder every year.
When do they run the Boulder Boulder?
It's always the Monday of Memorial Day weekend.
Okay. That's a great. We'll have to make our way out there, Erika.
Yes.
Add Colorado to your list. Erika's got a goal to do a marathon in every state, and we'll just have to find one around the Boulder Boulder.
You know what's funny?
You can just run the Boulder Boulder 4 times.
There you go.
I'm actually heading out to Colorado, the Denver area. It's so funny. It is literally the Thursday after Memorial Day this year, because I'm going to run Revel Rockies, and
cool.
it just. Maybe I can just go out a few days early and
go.
make it a really long
Boulder
trip.
Boulder it's a big deal. Like, the vibe in the city for the whole weekend is buzzing.
I can't believe it's that big of a race for is the 10K the only race that they hold, or do they have like a 5K or?
No, just a
That
10K.
is huge.
It was one of the first big races, started back in like 78 or something. Frank Shorter started the race. If we all know Frank Shorter, the godfather of American long distance running, along with Steve Prefontaine. And it has star power behind it, and it was always a big race.
I'm impressed. Maybe I'm really going to consider going earlier.
Well, if you go earlier, I might have to join you. I might have to figure out a hall pass to get out of the house for that. But when you live in Boulder, how often, you mentioned a few people from when you were a kid that you looked up to, but how often do you run into them now living in Boulder? Because I know that is like a hot spot for all the big time endurance runners and triathletes, and people train up there because of the area and the elevation.
Altitude,
you run into those people often, or is it kind of like everyone's just used to it?
No, they're all over the place. When I go on runs, I see them out there. Kara Goucher's on the trails a lot, and Emma Coburn's out here. She doesn't officially live in Boulder, but she's here a lot. Scott Jurek, legendary ultra runners, is one of my good friends. Not bragging, but
we could talk about
No
Scott
big
for an
deal.
entire podcast. I was really I'll tell you this one quick story. You were trying to help him run the Appalachian Trail from Maine to New Hampshire to Georgia. He's done it before, but I just missed you when you're in New Hampshire, and I was like, "Yo, if you need anything, let me know." And you're like, "Yeah, I'm on the bus already, heading back to Logan." And I just missed you.
I know that would have been cool.
Was he doing an FKT?
Yeah, he was trying to get the FKT on the Appalachian Trail again, but he totally wimped out, so it didn't happen.
My God.
Erika, it's on YouTube. So she just came back from Tokyo. I sent her like a ton of homework to do. Picked some of my favorite videos of yours, of the running ones. I could have sent her like a couple days worth of the cycling ones. But Scott's one of them. He's in a lot of his videos. You do the running with Duzer. You did the Appalachian Trail.
Loved
Scott's
your
super
Courtney
cool.
Dauwalter one, by the way, of that. She's like my hero, and I freaking love her. So you guys are cracking
Courtney
me up.
Dauwalter is very cool. Yep, there's no doubt. She doesn't live around here anymore, unfortunately. She used to live down the road in Golden. But yeah, there's a lot of well-known runners and triathletes, and now we have Deion Sanders just walking around the streets of Boulder. He's the new coach of the football team.
Not a big deal.
No big deal.
You can just name drop like boop, 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 boop.
I know. Boulder is a great place. Come on down. You guys should live here, move here, everybody.
Absolutely. I love it. I've been there a couple of times. Spring break one year we went to Colorado. I was not like the normal kid in high school or college. I would go skiing in Colorado or out west, when everyone else would go down to Miami or Cancun. I was like, no, I want to go skiing, or I want to go on an adventure. That's what I want to do. So been a couple times, helped a friend drive out there. It's a long drive. And it is a beautiful area, and I got to go back. I got a couple things on my bucket list for Colorado. So when that happens, I have another bucket list goal. I want to go to Dana's place, and I want to get a burrito. Well,
yes.
I don't know. You have your own burrito there, was it?
Yeah, it's not just a burrito. It's a Duzerito.
That's right.
Ooh.
Yeah, so come on. We'll go to the Walnut Cafe. We'll get Duzeritos. We'll ride bikes on the Thursday night cruiser ride. We'll run on the trails with Scott Jurek. It'll be the best weekend of your life.
We might have to make this a week, but that's a big. That would be so much fun. Oh, that would be great. So, I want to talk about one race in particular, because when I found you, you were just doing the Baja bike ride. That's when I found you. I got a dummy bike trainer, and I'm like YouTubing biking things, and that's how I found you a long time ago. You were doing the Baja. And Mexico just looked so beautiful and so amazing, where I've never been, and you hear stories, but you really talk about how Mexico is a great place and the people are awesome. Well, then a few months later, I think 6 months later, you go back and you ran, forgive me if I pronounce it wrong, but the Cabo Blanco Ultra in the Copper Canyons of Mexico, which I'm just watching this and I'm like, this place looks amazing. And you go with such a cool crew. So I want to hear, and I want our listeners to hear a little bit about that adventure and that race. And you kind of can mix. I think you've done it 3 times. You just came back. Tell us however you want, but, that place looks amazing, and tell us about the race. And we can't finish without talking about when you did the 50-miler in your jeans.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Crazy.
So a lot of you out there listening have probably read the book Born to Run. The race, the Caballo Blanco, is the race that's highlighted in that book. And so I read that book. It was very influential to me. I love it. It's a great adventure story. Even if you don't like running, I think people would love this book. And I decided I'm going to make my way down there to the Copper Canyons and run this race. And at the time, the furthest I'd ever run was a 50K, so 31 miles. And I was a little overwhelmed. I'm like, wow, 50 miles seems insanely far. But I got all psyched up to go down there. And actually, the very first time I went there, I thought it would be cool to take public transportation the entire way. So starting from the very front door in front of my house, I jumped on a bus and connected a whole series of buses, and that got me all the way down to the Copper Canyons. And then I took a train and hitchhiked and made it down to the area, the town called Urique. And the canyons are beautiful. Think like something on the scale of the Grand Canyon, but a little bit bigger and greener, and it is just stunning. I remember getting there for the very first time and being absolutely blown away by the beauty. And then when you get down to the bottom of the canyons where the race starts and takes place, it's in this beautiful little town called Urique. It's this idyllic little Mexican village. There's like 1,500 people, and the entire town embraces this race. And so the race was created by this guy named Caballo Blanco, the white horse. His real name was Micah True, and he actually lived in Boulder for a long time. And he had spent a lot of time in the Copper Canyons with these people, the Rwanda. They're also known as the Tarahumara. They are the ones that run in sandals. And he got to know them very well. He loved their culture, and he wanted to create a race that would help them in some way. And so he created this race called the Caballo Blanco. And the book, it's about Scott Jurek and friends going down there and racing against these legendary ultra runners of the Copper Canyons. And so that's kind of the backstory on the race. I went down there to run. It's so exciting. I've been down there 5 times now, and I absolutely love it. It is incredible. I just got back a week ago. And the race is hard, of course. It's hot. But the aid stations, and listen up, have burritos. And they're like little old ladies by an open fire making burritos at the aid stations. It's super cool. And most of the race are the Raramuri people, the Tarahumara. And there's like 800 people in the race now. I would say 600 of them are the Raramuri. And there's maybe 150, 200 Mexican nationals from around Mexico. And then there's some gringos and people from around the world that go down there. And the vibe is just through the roof. It's amazing. There's burritos at the aid stations. And I'm still glowing from my experience. It's so fun.
Gringo, for those who don't know, and I learned this because of you, but gringo is white guy.
Yeah, like a white guy. That's what Mexicans, or Latin Americans in general, Central American Mexicans will call a white, in a loving way. It's not like a derogatory term.
I love, though, that on your channel, you were just with John and Mira, and you will someone will yell to you, "Hey, gringo, gringo," and you will give a little description in the video, like gringo, stands for this, or you do it for other things. So I love everything you do on your YouTube channel, and even when you throw in the little things there. And I would not have known that, and I didn't take it as a derogatory way either. I just thought, they're saying, hey guy, how are you? Because they always like really welcome you and bring you over to their place. They cook you food. They they do so much for you. They seem like the greatest, nicest people, and I don't think I would have known that, never been there, if it wasn't for your YouTube channel and all the times you go to Mexico, and it just looks fantastic.
Yeah, I love Mexico. I've been all over Mexico. My first big bike ride, I rode my bike from Honduras all the way to Colorado, so I rode thousands of miles through Mexico. People have invited me into their homes and offered me meals, and they're so generous and kind and loving. And I know Mexico gets a bad rap on the news, as a narco country. And of course, there's some violence, there's some nonsense, but there's a lot of that here in the United States as well. True. And I've only found the best of Mexico, and I love it. And I love showing the best of Mexico in my videos so I can help educate people like you maybe who have a different mindset because they watch the nightly news and they're told that Mexico's bad and don't ever go there.
I have 2 things. I just have to say thank you for making these videos, because it gives us a chance to see the beauty when we might not have a chance to go down ourselves. So I thoroughly enjoyed watching these videos. Like, it is an absolutely beautiful place. Your Spanish is impeccable, by the way. I think you're a fabulous Spanish speaker. And I have to know, those burritos you talk about at the aid stations, how well did those sit in your stomach while you're trying to do a 50-miler? I need to know, because burrito and, I get a little nervous thinking about that. So,
you know what? I like eating real food during ultra marathons. My very first 100-miler was the Javelina 100, and I ate a lot of the gels and the goos and the sugary stuff. And by mile 70, I was nauseous. I couldn't eat anything. Like, it was so gross. So the next year I came back and I made a point to eat more of the real food, pickles and watermelons. And I actually have burritos at the aid stations in Javelina 100 too. So for me, burritos sit in my belly just fine. I'm really used to beans. I lived in Honduras for 2 years in the Peace Corps, so my stomach is A-okay with that kind of food. But I am, in general, a big fan of fueling yourself with real food.
I have another thing. Before you got into the studio, I was telling Eric that I watched your video on Javelina 2017, and you had me rolling in the first 5 seconds of that video where you just go, I just pooped. And everybody within like hearing distance go, woo!
Yeah.
And if that doesn't describe the running community, I don't know what does.
You know, we cheer each other on for the littlest things. And sometimes,
oh my God, yes.
Sometimes a poo is a big deal, you know, then you feel so much better.
Seriously.
Like you can go
it's
run
like
another 100. You're
right?
a new person.
It gives you a new like lease on life. You're just ready to go. So I'd love to hear more about that, but we'll let you talk more about the Copper Canyons.
We'll get there. Don't you worry.
Good.
All right. Good little teaser there. Back to Mexico. There was one really cool, neat event, and I've talked about it before on the podcast because I remember we had somebody who doesn't like their medals. She's not a medal person. They do a kids race there, and all the medals the kids get for the kids race, they were donated from people like us up here or anywhere around the world. And sometimes a kid would get a little Goffstown Gallop medal, or they might get an Ironman medal, but they do that cool race there for all the kids, right?
Absolutely. That's actually my favorite part of the entire weekend is they call that the Carrera de los Caballitos, which is the little horses. And there's from every age, from little tykes who run like 20 meters to 13, 14 years old who run like 1.5 miles, 2 miles. And so it's a whole morning of races and kids and fun. And every kid gets a medal, and they're donated from a bunch of people who send down, you know, their race medals throughout the years that they've collected, because we all have like, you know, drawers full of these medals. I'm also one that like does not care about medals. And so, yeah, they get medals. They all get a lunch. We make a really big deal out of it. And this year we actually, the team that we went down with brought down a whole bunch of carnival rides, which I don't know how they got these things down to the bottom of the canyons, but like small style carnival rides, teacups and stuff like that. So these kids were just blown away. They'd never seen anything like that in their lives.
That's so cool. So are these the guys, your team, the ones from Arizona?
Yep, that's the ones. Yep. And so if you're out there listening and you ever want to go on a guided trip with a bunch of very cool people, you can reach out to them, truemessengers.org, and talk to Michael Miller and join the team. It's super fun. And again, it's like people of all abilities. You know, we have young and old and everybody in between. It's about the experience, really. Yes, there's a 50-mile race involved, but you don't even have to run it. Now they have different distances. They have a half marathon and marathon, so it's super cool.
I think I might need to get the information from you because I'm race directing my very first race this year, and I'm looking into getting medals. And if I have any extras, I would love to donate them to the kids down in Mexico. So yeah, later on we'll get that info from you because I think that would be a really nice thing to do. So nothing goes to waste. Everything goes full circle.
Absolutely.
That would be cool. There'd be a bunch of Total Image running medals down there in Mexico maybe one day. That would be super cool.
So while I was watching that one of your excursions to the Copper Canyons, I did see that you ran that 50-mile race, which is a warm race, I assume, right? Because it's in Mexico.
Like
could be very
90s.
warm.
Yeah.
And you ran it in a pair of jeans. So I need to know how that went and how much squirrel nut butter you needed to use.
Yeah. So I didn't really plan on it. I had running shorts that I packed to run a race with running shorts like a normal human would do. But that morning I woke up and I was looking at my jeans, and a lot of the locals run in jeans. That's just what they have, a lot of the guys. And I'd seen this throughout the previous years of running this race. And I'm like, well, if these guys can run in jeans, I'm going to give it a shot. So I was wearing my jeans, and it really wasn't that big of a deal. Like, they were kind of like those stretchy jeans. So there was actually, I used no lube or squirrel's nut butter at all. I was A-okay the whole time.
So impressed.
Yeah.
I don't think I
People
run
were
without
very worried about
even
me,
in
but
running
I was
shorts.
okay.
So that was
It was
more
a
of
very-
like a when in Rome situation, right? You're like, if they could do it, I could do it, and it actually worked out for you.
It was fine. My race was great. I don't think those jeans slowed me down at all.
Would you ever do it again?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. You know, I like getting my legs tan in early March, so, you know, I like shorts. I'm definitely a shorts guy in general. But I'm a little goofy sometimes, and I threw on the jeans and went for a little 50-mile jog in the mountains.
Not a big deal.
Just a jog, right?
You did really well. I was so impressed how well you did in that event too. So that was amazing. I assume that your trip you just went on, that will be on YouTube soon.
I'm editing it right now. Yes.
All right. Well, I can't wait to see that because
Well,
that
and
place
the
is
cool
just
thing
gorgeous.
about this video is you're going to see my girlfriend Amelia Boone, who is a very well-known ultra runner, and I brought her down there because I wanted her to experience this and see the magic of the canyons. And it was fun because she'd only been to Mexico once, and it was like resort Mexico. So this was like kind of the real down and dirty Mexico, and she loved it. And she did really well in the race. She got 3rd place overall for women.
Wow, that's fantastic.
She
Do you
did.
guys
And
tend to do races together or often?
We've done a couple together, and she always beats me. Damn it.
well, that leads me into how you met, which is you met at the Leadville 100. And first off, that race looks epic and just like brutal at the same time. And watching Scott was there too, watching you go from like really happy and excited. And then you kind of went in valleys. You had ups and downs, right? But that is when you met Amelia Boone, since you dropped her name. And I would love to hear about the Leadville 100 because you've done it the last 2 years in a row, and I think both experiences were the same and different at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, 100-milers are just crazy. I mean, you're always going up and down and highs and lows. I think everybody would say the same thing. So my first year doing Leadville, I tweeted out a few months beforehand that I was doing Leadville. And Amelia responded to my tweet saying, if you need any help, let me know. And I hadn't really talked with her much. I met her once very briefly at a conference, but we didn't know each other very well. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, wow, super babe, Amelia Boone just commented on my tweet. She says she wants to help me? No way. And sure enough, she was serious. And I remember a few weeks before the race, I reached out again, and I was like, are you serious about helping me? She's like, yeah, I'd love to come help you and pace you, whatever. And I was like, sweet. Well, meet me at Twin Lakes, which is mile 60, and we'll go from there. And that's how it all started. So I've run for, before I meet her, run for 60 miles up and over Hope Pass. You've read the stories. It's very hard. So, I'm already going through my own emotions and challenges in the race. And then I know, oh gosh, I have to kind of keep it together for Amelia at mile 60. This is almost like a first date. I want to make a good impression.
Spending a lot of time together, yeah.
Got to be in a good mood. I just ran 60.
Yeah, and so I meet up with her, and it's exciting, and there she is in real life. And we ran 15 miles together, and that's essentially the very first time we ever had a conversation, was that. Pacing me. So it was very cool. And then if you want to know, then after the race ends, then I tweeted her or texted her, thank you very much for helping me out. And we both went our own ways. And I didn't see her again for 3 months. And it wasn't until she was leading a group run in Boulder in December of that year. And I saw that somewhere on social media. I'm like, oh, I should go say hi to Amelia. I haven't seen her since Leadville. And I walked into the group run, and she just grabbed me and started making out with me in front of everybody.
Whoa.
Just kidding.
I was like, we just got the inside scoop because that wasn't on YouTube.
Yeah, no, that's kidding. Just making sure you're listening. So at that group run, she's like, I'd love to go on a bike ride with you. And that's my love language. And so the following weekend, we went on a bike ride, and that's kind of how it all started.
Man,
That's
you guys
pretty
just
cool.
gel so well together. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I truly do love, and I don't want to be done with Leadville, but I love how much you share on all your platforms, and you shared love and hurt and everything, all your experiences and emotions on YouTube. I appreciate that about you, is that it's, you say sometimes people will be like, Ryan, why are you always so happy all the time? Like, you're always so happy. You're like, well, not always. And we get that on your YouTube channel. You do pour out your emotions on your YouTube channel. And I appreciate that.
Well,
I
want
that too.
Yeah, I want my channel to be like a real depiction of these adventures in my life, not just the best moments. And that's a big criticism of social media in general, is people only show the best of life. And throughout the years, yeah, there are times where I talk about the hard moments in life, or heartbreak, or the reasons why I quit drinking alcohol, you know, or when I'm in the middle of biking the Colorado Trail and I'm ready to collapse, you know, I talk about this stuff because people can relate more, you know, to that type of human behavior, because we all have been through hard times. We go through hard times every week, you know?
Yeah.
But if you're always like, I'm great, I'm the best, I'm so strong, you know, then people are like, yeah, this guy is kind of fake, you know?
I related to you in two occasions on bike rides. I think both on the Colorado Trail. One was when you lost the drone in the tree,
Yeah.
and I felt for you right then. I was like, "Yep." At one point, you just know it's gone, and you got to go, and you maybe wave bye to it.
Yeah.
And then the other one was when your belt broke, the carbon belt drive.
Yeah.
And I knew what you were going through because I've been stuck out there on the trail, and I'm like, okay, my drivetrain's gone now, and I don't have an extra chain or anything. And you were in the middle of one thing we
Nowhere.
haven't mentioned is you don't drive, so you got to find someone to get you. You're in the middle of nowhere. At least I could probably run to my house where I was, but I related to those two are some of the recent moments, and I really appreciate even when you share the heartbreak, and I love the happy times too. The happy times are awesome.
And, you know, people say all the time, you're always so positive. Are you always so happy? And no, I'm a human. I have emotions just like everybody else, and I have bad days. But what you see on YouTube, that's months and months of planning and preparation for an adventure. So when you see me, I am like living the dream. Let's say it's the Colorado Trail or the Great Divide mountain bike route or the Leadville 100. Like when I'm out there, yeah, I'm psyched because I've been preparing for this moment for months and months and getting my body ready, getting gear together. And it is exciting. And during Leadville this year, I said, even on my video, this is like a holiday. This is a very special occasion. I don't get to do 100 milers very often. Your body just can't handle it. So I do about one of these a year. One, just like Christmas Day. That's your one chance to enjoy it and have the time of your life. Even if it's hard and you know it's going to get hard, it's still magical. And I have this body that is strong enough to be out there doing these things, and the time to have trained to get ready for this, and the gear and all my friends and a crew. So it's very special to be out there and to have the opportunity to do one of these things.
He does have a great crew. He has some of the coolest people who are always there helping him. Dana and Xanta are one of them. Your mom, who you talk about so much on your channel, who just sounds awesome. She's there at these races. And then he has his friends like Scott who goes. And I believe it was Scott who ran with you on the first Leadville attempt a year ago. At the he helped bring you to the finish line, right?
He was actually the second Leadville. So first Leadville, I had Amelia Boone and Darcy Pecue. Darcy's also a legendary ultra runner. So I had a great team there. And then this past year was Amelia and Scott. And Scott had me for the final 25 miles. And I was kind of falling apart by mile 75 at the end with Amelia. And I was like, oh, no, man, not again. Because I really came back to Leadville because my first year was the last 25 miles were a death march. And I really wanted to improve. So I trained quite a bit more. And here I am, second year in Leadville, and the same things are happening. And I'm like, oh, God, this is really going to suck because I know exactly how this went last year. But, I took some ibuprofen. I don't know what happened. I met up with Scott, and I felt great. Obviously, being with Scott was amazing because this guy has been through everything, and he knows exactly what to do. And we had a wonderful 25 miles together, and he's serious business. You were Scott, like he's going to want you to go fast. And we would see all these headlamps, in front of us. And Scott's like, we're going to catch him. We're getting him. It's like, we're going for this. And I'm like, oh, my God, I can barely move, man. He's like, no, we're getting him. We're getting him. And those final 25 miles, I passed 20 people. And so I was at like 55th place in Leadville when I met Scott. And by the end of the race, I was in 35th. It was pretty cool.
That is super, super impressive. I can't even, it just blows my mind. The amount of like training and effort that you put into that, and then to have that energy, even if you do have a friend like trying to, come on, let's go. Yeah. Just trying to get you to the finish. It's still your body doing the work. So well done, sir.
Thank you.
not only is he doing the run, he's getting content at the same time. You've got your camera, you got your phone, you're even posting at the time, I think on Instagram, unless those are videos you saved later. Like, so you're not just running, but you're like, you got the camera out and you're getting your content for your channel.
Yeah. And it's fun to be able to do that. And people often say, don't you think you'd run a lot faster if you didn't have a camera in your hand the whole time? And I don't know if I would. It's kind of like the jeans in the 50 miler. Like, the camera allows me the opportunity to kind of talk out everything as if I have a buddy there. Even when I'm in the middle of nowhere by myself, I'll whip out the camera and I'll talk to the camera about what's going on with my body or my mind. And it really helps process everything. And, I feel like when you can do that and you can let it out a bit, it takes away the pain. And it makes you forget about the pain to a degree. And then I put the camera away for a bit and then I start running again and I feel energized.
So piggybacking off of the whole, like, I appreciate your honesty stuff. Going back to your javelina video, your first attempt, I really, really appreciated how honest you were about your digestional issues, how you were stuck in that pain cave, how hard it was to dig yourself out of it. I mean, throughout all of that too, you would still be there and try to pump up everybody you came across. Like, you had your friends who you were running with, like you just met these people, but they were in your wolf pack. And like, I was just like, that is the kind of person that I would love to have on my side. Just somebody who's going to be like, woo, I feel like shit, but woo for you, like, it's just, it's so honest. And I'm sure everyone who's come across you in a race can appreciate that, the energy you put behind it.
Most people like it. Some people get irritated by it. It's kind of like one or the other, because I am very loud and gregarious and I'm cheering everybody on.
Right.
And I feel like when I'm cheering on other people, I get energized. And so you'll see any of my race videos, I'm always like, yeah, you got this, go, 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 woo, and I'm whooping and hollering constantly for miles and miles and miles. And yeah, it's a lot of energy, but I love doing it. And I truly feel like it pumps me up.
I'm one of those people who would do the same thing. Like, I need to cheer somebody else on or else I'm going to crumble and fall. Like why be out there if you can't, like, be there for your competitors or just your friends? And I totally get it. So
that's the beauty of ultra races, I think, is that the community is so supportive. Yes, there's a handful of elites in every ultra, but most ultra marathons are just regular people. They're out there accomplishing a gigantic challenge, something they've trained for years, and it's a big deal, and everybody knows that. And when you're on the start line of Leadville or Javelina, you look around at people, and everybody's in the same boat. They're like, man, this is going to be crazy, and we're all in this together, and it's going to hurt, and it's going to suck, but we're going to do this together.
I think a great example of that in one of your recent videos was like a Leadville prep race. I think it was a 50 miler, the Silver Rush. And there was this one scene, and I remember clipping this just to send it to Erika. Then I made it into a reel where you're running by this super large crowd. Everyone's cheering super loud. And then you ran into Courtney Dauwalter at the same race, I think it was. And just the crowd was amazing. I'm like, Erika, check this out. You need to watch this video. I just constantly sending her your running videos. Watch this one. Watch this one. That one looked so exciting and fun.
Yeah, that's a good one too. The whole Leadville series is great. They do a wonderful job, and it's a beautiful place to run. And there's races almost every weekend up there in the summer.
Gonna have to get down that way. I really am.
Yeah. I don't know why you live in New Hampshire. Get over here.
I was born here. We're stuck for now. But yeah, I'm just starting to dabble myself into the longer ultras. I've really only done timed races so far. So this year is going to be my very first 100. So do you have any tips for me? Like, besides just training and like where does my mindset need to be?
Ryan, Ryan, not only has she just started to dabble, she actually does very well in these events.
Nice.
I can just grind, like it's working out so far.
First of all, I don't train as much as I should. I'm routinely undertrained for all of these races.
That's what I do.
Yeah, because I ride my bike so much. because biking is the main, it's the meat of my YouTube channel, and that's how I make money. And so
Well,
I go
you're
on these
cross training, man. That counts.
Yeah,
It's still working
biking-
muscles, getting endurance.
Yeah, biking really doesn't help for my running at all. If
No.
I go like on a month-long bike trip and then I come home and then I go for a run, my legs feel so heavy and slow. It's like I've never been running in my life. Yeah, it takes a while to like get them back in line, running shape. So, but I would say, advice, go into it just knowing that it's such a privilege and a special occasion, and whatever happens is going to happen, and you just keep moving those feet forward, whether you're walking or crawling or running, and really lean on the people at the aid stations. They're there to help you. Some of the best humans in the world are at those aid stations, and they're there because they want to be there and they want to help you.
Get high fives and hugs, right?
Oh yeah, like constantly. And if you need food, if you need to stop, you need to chill, like do all that, because it's like I'm guessing you're not going for like a specific super fast time. It's just an experience for you, right?
Nope. Yep. Just to finish, just to try it.
I often tell people like you get to be outside in nature all day long for 24 plus hours, and that's really cool. How often do we get to do that? Not very often.
Not often. No. Especially with working and full-time jobs, and in his case kids, and there's a lot that holds you back. So get outside while you can.
Yeah, I'm excited for you. You're gonna love it. Which 100 are you doing?
I am running the Yeti 100 in Virginia. It's on the Virginia Creeper Trail. So I think it's one of the easier ones, if you could say, because there's not a whole lot of elevation. I'm not climbing a mountain multiple times like you would in Leadville or Javelina or Western States. So this is like a baby, an intro course to the 100. It'll
still be plenty challenging, and I'm glad that you're doing it, and I'm excited for you.
Thank you. Yeah, I will keep you posted how it goes. It's at the end of September, so I got time to train and time to prep and get my head in the right mindset. So I will do my best.
And as far as training goes, even if you go like on a really long hike one day, 4 or 5 hours, like that's good training. Your feet just need to know what it feels like to, be walking and moving all day long. So time on feet is really important.
Definitely.
So, if there's like a week or two you've kind of burned out on like actual running, you can just go for a really long hike, and that will still be very beneficial.
Got a lot of nice hikes out here. I could take you on.
That is true. We got to hit up our friend Danielle, because that's all she does is just hike. She's like our master hiking friend up in the White Mountains.
I like it.
Speaking of our friends and of advice, and you just gave some great advice, we have a friend named Karen, and she will be going out to Colorado this summer to do the Trans Rockies. Ooh. You have done the Trans Rockies. You've YouTubed about the Trans Rockies. It's another race that looks just absolutely amazing and stunning. Tell us a little bit about the Trans Rockies and what Karen should be looking forward to.
Oh, it's so fun. I would do it every year if I could, but it's usually just a couple weeks before Leadville, so it's really not a good idea. But I love it. It's so fun. The guy who runs the race director, his name is Huda. He's from Canada. He's super funny. Every night there's like these big family dinners, and he does these speeches and skits and comedy, and it's just fun. Like that race, really, they call it like an adult summer camp.
Oh,
and it
fun.
is. Yeah, and of course there's some running involved, and the routes are beautiful. You start in Buena Vista, Colorado, and you make your way all the way to Beaver Creek. And yeah, some of the days are tough, and you're running through mountain creeks and all that, but it is so beautiful. Interestingly enough, I do these races, and I'll do a hard race, but then I won't do another race for months. What's unique about Trans Rockies is you'll go all out on day one, and then you get some sleep, and you wake up, and you get to the starting line sore. So that was a new thing for me. You're already sore, and then you run your butt off on day 2, and then you're feeling great, and you're partying with everybody that night in camp, and then you wake up again, and you're like, oh God, I'm super sore now, and you just keep doing it over and over. But they have massage tents and massage tables. They take good care of people. They feed you good food. It is it's like a vacation in a way. It's like a trip of a lifetime.
That's right, because they kind of do a lot of the work for you outside of running. They supply the tents, and you just set the food, and that work's kind of done for you. So you just show up and you run and have fun, and they do all the work.
Exactly. Yeah, and they make great food. They set up your tent, and it's just a really good time. So anybody out there listening, if you have that opportunity, do Trans Rockies. I've also seen there's lots of 2-person teams that do it, a lot of married couples or whatever. And I think it seems like a very good bonding experience. I've only done it once when I was just solo running, but yeah, they have two people teams, and that looks
like
cool.
a relay, or they run
No,
it together?
you run together, and so you have to finish together. So it's not like
that.
one person can be super fast and like get a great time, and the other person comes
wanna
in 2
blow 'em
hours
away.
later. You
You have
know,
to finish every day together, right?
yeah, every day together. Yes, so it's there's some tactics involved, or somebody's inevitably going to be feeling better or stronger one day, and you have to, wait up or
That's pretty
be there
cool.
for your partner.
Maybe we could do that one together one day. Maybe that's
There we
what we'll
go.
do, Erika.
Okay, I could be on board for that.
That would be fun. That would be a wicked fun time.
Wicked. I'm definitely talking to Northeasterners.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, you absolutely are.
I'm surprised we haven't dropped that more.
Yeah, I heard you say it at the beginning. I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
Not
Northeastern's
Colorado people.
wicked awesome over here in the Northeast. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ryan, out of all of the races that you've done so far, and I know you say you like the 10K is one of your favorites. Out of your long runs, what is your favorite race? And have you repeated a bunch? Like I know you've done Leadville a few times, but like what
Burning Man
one do you
too.
like to keep going? Oh, Burning Man. Oh, I'll have to hear about that one after. But so just let us know what some of your favorite races are.
Once I find a race that I like, I'll do it over and over and over. So Burning Man was actually my very first ultra marathon. It's a 50K, 31 miles at Burning Man, and it is bonkers. It is as crazy as you think it would be. You want to know about the race? It's cool. I have videos on my YouTube channel. And it again, but it's, I felt the community and I felt the love at that race. And I was like, wow, ultra marathons are a bit different than the other races I grew up doing. I was in high school track, and that's kind of competitive, And ultra marathons are different, especially at Burning Man. And so I've done that one 7 times, and I love it.
7, that's awesome.
Yeah, I absolutely love that
I've
race.
seen some of the costumes out there, and I'm just like, that's something you don't see in normal ultras.
Well, I mean, people wear costumes, people run it naked. The race starts at 5 in the morning in the dark, so you're running right through dance floors and all sorts of wacky stuff. There's people that will chase you down with a bottle of whiskey to give you whiskey shots. I mean, it is definitely a goofy race. And I like races like that. I like races that are events. So I like Javelina 100 too. It's kind of similar. It's out there in the desert. It's goofy. It's fun. The aid stations are amazing. Vipa, who put on that race, are a wonderful organization. So I've done Javelina 3 times, and I would like to go back and do it this year. What else? I've done Caballo Blanco down in Mexico now 4 times. Yeah, those are my faves. Yeah, and Leadville. Leadville also is amazing. I would do Leadville again this year, but I have too many bike trips planned.
Ooh,
Why don't you tell us about some of those bike trips? Yeah, what you got?
So I leave in a week to go to Rwanda, my first time to Africa.
Oh,
The
wow.
tourism-
God, you're a busy
tours-
guy.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is
You're
what I
all
do.
over.
I travel and I document adventures for my channel. So Rwanda, the tourism board invited me out because they want to build up their cycling, in the country. And so they're like, come make some of your videos, please. And so I'm going to go to Rwanda, which I'm really excited about.
Cool.
I know. I remember watching Gorillas in the Mist as a kid, and it was very influential. And now I get to go see the mountain gorillas. So this
When
is
is
definitely...
when are you going to get back to Sweden? I know Sweden's on the bucket list, and it's been for a while.
Yeah, so last year I was supposed to ride the length of Sweden from the Arctic Circle all the way down to the bottom of Sweden, which is about 1,300 miles. And 24 hours before I was supposed to get on the flight, Scandinavian Airlines went bankrupt, and all the itineraries were canceled. So I was screwed.
way.
It was crazy, and it took a long time to even get my money back, and I didn't even get it all back. It was like airlines can be evil. Anyway, so that didn't happen, but this year I want to go back to Sweden and ride the length of Sweden. There's a big bike event out in Iowa called Ragbri.
Oh,
and
we
it's a
could
big-
talk. Yeah.
You know,
That's right up his alley.
450-mile ride across the state of Iowa. There's usually like 20,000 people out there. Again, I like big events. I like lots of people. I like energy. And so that's a big one too.
I think I did share with you, Ragbri Erika. I said, when you finish
did.
everything, you can then go to this. You and Brandon would love it. You even teased before, Ryan, about doing like a Duzer team, you know, at Ragbri, I think, right? Maybe one day in the future. Yeah,
we're going to do some sort of Duzer team. I'm going to make some hot pink shirts so we all know we're on the team.
I love it. If you do that, and if I can manage it somehow, I'm going to do Ragbri one day. My dad, who just retired, I played one of your Ragbri videos for him. He goes, I'll do this. And I'm like, yeah, all right, let's get out biking. Let's get in shape. Let's do it. So
yeah, it's super fun. It really, I always tell people it shows off the best of small town America. It's just very charming. There's little bake sales run by little old ladies at the church, and the Girl Scouts are selling stuff, and the Boy Scouts and soccer teams, and you know, there's bands everywhere and music and slip and slides. It's super fun.
That just adds to the character. That is like one of the fun things about running those races. There's just a lot of character to it, so it makes you want to keep coming back and revisiting all the fun things.
Totally. I've done Ragbri now like 5 times. Like once I find a winner, like I said, I keep going back.
So another question I have: how do you come up with these kind of like routes you do? I know Ragbri is like a thing, but like, how did you decide you wanted to ride the length of Sweden? Like, is that a known course, or you just felt like it? Like, how do you come up with these ideas?
Pretty much just felt like it. So the backstory is I was an exchange student in Sweden right out of high school. That was my very first time ever leaving Boulder, essentially, leaving home, leaving my mom. It was a monumental experience in my life. And I loved it. I absolutely loved Sweden. I learned Swedish, went to high school in Sweden, had a Swedish girlfriend. I did everything you could do. Ate a lot of meatballs. This was before I was a vegetarian. And when I lived in Sweden, I was in the very southern tip, a town called Malmö. And I always wanted to go way up north, and I never made it past Stockholm. And Stockholm was barely north. And I was just like, I want to see the midnight sun. I want to go above the Arctic Circle. And even back then, I was like, I want to do some sort of adventure up there someday. And so that's kind of the idea. As far as a known course, no. I'm just going to go and figure it out like I do for a lot of my rides. You know, you just use Google Maps and some other software and just figure it out. And, you know, another thing I love about bike trips is I'll be riding and then I'll meet some locals and they'll give me some local advice and tell me to go this way or that way or go visit this town. You can't miss it. And so it's kind of like a choose your own adventure.
It's some of your best content. Cool. Yeah, that's some of your best content. Like when you rode across the country a while ago in your series Love Cycles, which is my favorite thing you've ever put out. I tell everyone, like, you got to watch Love Cycles. Even though you went through the heartbreak later, you got to watch Love Cycles. It's so good. But you ran into my favorite guy you ran into actually is the one who drove you up the mountain, and you don't like getting car rides sometimes, but he's like, no, I'm going to take you up this mountain, and then you're going to go down it so fast your head's going to spin off. And you've met some amazing people who have shared their stories and advice and experiences and have sent you to some of the most amazing places. I'm envious.
Yeah, you know, I love meeting people personally. Like, I love traveling for the sake of connecting with humans around the world or in the United States. And I love sharing those stories through my channel. And I think what it does is it shows viewers that the world is not such a scary place. Again, you watch the news, you follow social media. Like, the United States seems like a pretty messed up place in a lot of ways. But when I do my adventures and my videos, you know, I get to show off the real good parts that you don't see in the news. And I get a lot of comments from people outside of the United States who will say something like, man, you know, I watch the international news over here in Australia or Great Britain or whatever, and the view we have of your country is pretty negative right now. And then I watch your videos and I get a totally different idea of Americans. So thank you for sharing that with me. And so those are the comments that I love getting. And, you know, same goes for Mexico. I like showing off the best of Mexico and just humans in general.
No, it's fantastic.
That's so cool.
Everything you share is so fantastic. There's so much we could talk. So a whole nother episode on biking. Like I didn't even plan to get into it, and we started talking about biking.
Sorry, I know this is a running podcast.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We do have people on. We have triathletes come on. We will bring on bikers someday. It's on the runs, and this is a perfect segue into what you teased earlier. But on the runs is whenever, you might have something that goes wrong on your run or your bike ride. So you kind of teased earlier that you might have something for us. And I'm kind of excited because I didn't know of anything until you teased it. So this is going to be news to me hearing it for the first time, and Erika too.
I hate to disappoint you, but I think I was just playing a little bit with the term. But no, I have never really had. I've never had like bad stomach issues or diarrhea.
We call
on
it Code
a bike
Brown
adventure. Yeah, I've been very lucky to not have gotten too sick. Knock on wood on any of my adventures, because that would make an already very hard thing even harder. Where I do have stomach issues are in running races for sure. So in that javelina video where you see me fling the porta potty door open, I just pooped. That was because a lot of the race I was really having trouble. I had just spent a few weeks in Honduras before javelina, and my stomach was a little messed up from something I ate. And I mean, those kind of things happen. And when you're running, you're bouncing, and your stomach is bouncing, and it's hard. You're putting things into your body that you're not used to eating, especially that quantity of food and the calories. And it's tricky to keep it all together. There's no doubt that stomach issues have been a problem for me in races.
Well, a good example.
Alex who said motion is lotion. That's
yes.
her
We had a nutritionist on, and she goes, "Motion is lotion." She does a little shakeout run the day before because motion creates lotion, and she takes care of it.
There you go. Yeah.
But during a 100-miler, oof. Yeah. There's no avoiding it.
I've had to run off into the woods during Leadville and just, do my thing out in the woods, like mid-race, And I think a lot of ultra runners, definitely pack toilet paper in their running vests and those type of things because, sometimes, like Leadville at least, starts at 4 a.m. Most humans are not used to pooping before 4 a.m. So you're
not a coffee guy either, are you, Ryan?
No, I don't. I don't drink coffee. No caffeine. So you get up and you're prepared, and you getting ready to go to the start line, and you're like, man, I just can't do it right now. Like my body's not ready. So, it might come a few hours into the race.
Code Browns. They don't have to be GI issues either. They could be like that one time you almost ran into a grizzly.
Yeah, that's true. There are scary things that can just scare the poop out of you. Yeah, I was up in Montana riding the Great Divide mountain bike route, and there was a grizzly that just kind of whoosh, like ran out. Like it didn't attack me, luckily, but it just kind of like took. I think I spooked it, and it took off, and I could see its big brown butt like running off into the woods. And I was like, oh wow, there goes a grizzly. Those things are real. I should be somewhat careful.
I think you had bear spray on you, right, for that ride?
Oh yeah, you have to have bear spray up there. But I usually every night would just take out the bear spray and spray it on my beans, as a way of adding some spice to them. Because it's just pepper spray.
I feel like that's a bad news right there.
Yeah, maybe that was a lie. I'm sorry.
Well, the people who are listening, there's one thing I wrote down as a side note. The people who are listening, when they start to watch your videos, they're going to learn that you don't drive.
Yeah.
You got a driver's license, but you don't drive, and I know a little bit of the story behind that. But could you share with us why you don't drive and why you bike everywhere?
Yeah. So as a very little kid, I remember watching an Earth Day special on PBS, and they talked about the dangers of pollution and what humans are doing to the planet. And this is way back in the mid '80s. And I watched it, and it was very influential. And I was like, okay, I am going to do everything I can to be nice to Mother Nature. And at that time, I was like, I'm never going to have a car. I am never going to drive because in my mind, cars are bad, pollution is bad, and I'm not going to be part of all that. And so I made a deal to myself as a young boy to not ever drive. And here I am at 44 years old, and I've never had a car in my life. I ride my bike everywhere or use public transportation. And the funny thing is, I did get my driver's license, but not until I was 32. And the reason was because I had to do I was hosting a TV show where they needed me to drive in some segments. And I remember the director of the show saying, so yeah, we're going to have you jump in the car and drive over here. And I was like, wait, hold on. I guess you didn't do your homework on me because I don't drive. And he's like, well, we need you to drive. Like, you have to get your license. So my mom, at age 32, when I was 32, my mom taught me how to drive just enough so I could pass the test, get the license, and do this dumb TV show.
And
Yeah. I'm proud of you for sticking to that since you were just a little kid. That is so impressive. And I really wish more people were like you to be more earth conscious, because God knows they aren't. Like, this world is not in good shape.
You know, and it's like it's only getting worse. And, you know, I think but everybody can do what they do. You know, I'm not down on cars and hate cars. I obviously know that the importance of cars. My mom was a single mom with 4 kids. She had to have a car to drive us to school and to all of our events. But I do think we can drive less for sure. We can ride our bikes more or use public transportation. And there's a lot of other things we can do to lessen our impact on the environment.
you share that too in your videos, and you don't just talk to the camera and say do better. You actually show some of the places you go, the pollution in those areas, especially with plastic.
Yeah. So I'm real down on plastic. Plastic is evil. You know, it's a petroleum-based product, and, you know, single-use plastic is just ridiculous to me, especially plastic water bottles. And yeah, I talk about it in my videos, not really in a preachy way, but come on, like, guys, we can do better. We can be nice.
Small
we
steps,
all love the
right?
Yeah, little steps. We all love the great outdoors, and we need to keep preserving it so the great outdoors stays great. And, you know, I'll go on my little rants here and there. Even at Ragbri, the event in Iowa where people are riding across the state, there is so much plastic waste. It's ridiculous. Whereas it doesn't have to be that way. You know, we can reuse things. We can bring our own forks with us on our bikes. We don't need to take a plastic fork at every single stand that's selling pie. So little things like that.
I do appreciate that there's a lot of races out there, like even just marathons that are starting to go cupless. They're encouraging the use of camelbacks and handheld water bottles just to reduce the amount of plastic on the course. Like, I know Big Sur is doing that. Even Berlin, they're trying to go big on saving resources. So I just hope more races will start to do that, because if you think about it, thousands and thousands of people run those, and that's just so much waste. So
much waste.
Jumping on that bandwagon is great.
It goes straight to the landfill, and as we know, plastic really never biodegrades. You know, it seeps into the water, microplastics get into the ocean, you know, we ingest that. It's just not good. It comes from oil. Like, it's not healthy. So I love that. Another thing races are doing is giving the option of accepting a swag bag or something, you know, when you go to a race and you have like a bag full of all these stupid goodies that, you know, I at least just don't need. And so now they're finally like, okay, maybe we don't need 10,000 little mini packets of sunscreen for people, you know, and it's just going to go to the landfill.
Right.
Erika, there's a tip for your future race directing. We can, you know, take that into consideration.
Yes. I got you guys. I got you.
Ryan, we could talk for hours and hours and hours, and
let's do it. This should be a marathon, just like an ultra marathon. Let's just do this for 24 hours.
Let's do it. Let's hunker down. Let me just go tell Mom downstairs real quick.
Need
hey,
a
Mom,
snack.
just grab a pillow. It's gonna be overnight. My kids aren't feeling that well, and they haven't been sleeping. So I'm like, Mom, I'm really afraid they're gonna be crying and up all night. And my wife's working, so she goes, well, I'll just come over and watch TV, read. Oh, she's knitting them sweaters. Actually, that's what she's doing.
Oh my God!
She's knitting them sweaters downstairs.
Shout
and she
out Janice.
Yeah, she put Adeline to bed, which
sweetheart.
she was up a little later, and but we could go for hours. So we have a couple big questions we asked everyone at the end, and I'm using quotations, right? And I didn't prep you for these, and they're really easy. So the first one I do is I go and I find a photo in your Instagram or your Facebook social media, and I find one that I think just looks fun, and I ask you, what is the background, the story of this photo? So here's my photo. It is you running. See if the camera goes there, but you're in a Scooby-Doo outfit.
Oh,
right? Yes, right there. You're in the Scooby-Doo outfit.
That's a good one.
And it looks like there's mascots running behind you, chasing you.
Yes. So The reason why I'm wearing a Scooby-Doo outfit and there's a buffalo chasing me and a whole bunch of other mascots is we have a race series in Boulder, and it's a downtown race series. And this particular race was the Pearl Street Mile. And they had a mascot race. So all of the big mascots from around Colorado come to do this race. So like the Broncos mascot, the CU Buffaloes, like all of them. And I knew the race director, and he's like, "Don't you have like some Scooby Duzer suit?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." And
Scooby Duzer.
Scooby Duzer.
I love it. Oh my god.
So that is the story behind that photo, and it's actually one of my favorite running photos. And I'm kicking all their butts, and I win the legendary Pearl Street Mile in my Scooby-Doo outfit.
I love it.
Give him a round of applause. Press that button.
Thank you.
I don't have the button. We do Riverside now, but yes, I can add it in later. Way to go, man. Yeah, like I said, we could talk for hours. So I do hope, and Erika's question's coming up, but I hope we can have you back one day. And I'm thinking maybe for episode 100.
Yeah.
Get you
Let's
for the
do
big
it.
milestones, man. We'd love it.
And if you ever need connections to like real cool elite runners, I can help you out there. So let me know.
I was gonna say, you might.
Yes, please.
I didn't know if you know anyone who knows Amelia Boone, but maybe one day I'll reach out and see if you have a connection there.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, she's a
Oh man, you
busy
should have
girl.
dropped the sunglasses, the Amelia Boone sunglasses, right?
well,
yeah.
You
The
dropped
story-
the ball, man.
You remember that story, Ryan, when she did an ultra marathon back in August? It was in Bristol, Rhode Island. It is called the
Oh yeah,
Anchor
you guys
Down
gave
Ultra.
me a hey, good job.
Oh, that's
good
right.
luck. And I was like,
So I forgot my sunglasses as I went to work, and then we drove down, and I was crewing for her, and it was just me and her. And so I said, "Hey, I forgot sunglasses. Can you bring me some?" And she has like 80 pair of Gooder sunglasses, and she knew which ones to pick out from watching your channel and seeing you. And
I hooked him up.
we sent you the message, and you and Amelia both responded and gave Erika a good luck shout out. And that was, dude, that's the kind of person you are. That was so cool. I really, you have always been, when I reached out to you and I knew you were in Boston, we went out and grabbed dinner. When you were here, if I got you maybe a day earlier, I would have driven you down to the airport. I would have gone to Gorham and picked you up. You're that cool of a guy, and for you to send her that good luck message, you don't even know her. You kind of know me, and I remember asking you when I started
It helped.
this podcast.
I won that day. I got female
It
open
did.
winner.
Yeah, girl, that's what I'm
was
talking
great.
about.
And I remember when
man.
I said, "Hey, Ryan, I'm starting a podcast on running with one of my best friends. Could you please follow us?" And I had like 50 followers. You're like, "Yes, man, absolutely. I'm so pumped for you." And yes, you're the man.
Part of my goal with my channel, I mean, the theme is to get out there, of course. And so I make videos that hopefully inspire people to get outside. But on top of that, I want to help people on their own adventure journeys. And so I want to be very accessible to people. So I spend probably 5 to 10 hours a week responding to people's questions and comments and emails about gear or whatever they might need for an adventure. And I like that because we've built up this cool community of Team Duzer, I call it. And it's really fun. So yeah, of course, like I like connecting with humans. That's what I like doing. It's fun. I like making friends.
Yeah,
so of course, when people reach out, like, I want to hang with you.
There
We
hasn't
are
been
Team
one
Duzer
time.
for life.
There hasn't been one time that he didn't respond. And I remember the first time you responded, I accidentally just wrote down on one of your Instagram videos as I'm on the Peloton watching. For some reason, like the sweat fell on my phone and it typed BB.
Oh, really?
Whatever BB means, I don't know. But you were riding your bike in a story, and then you responded with just like a heart. And I'm like, this guy just liked BB.
I'm like, I like random stuff.
Yeah. I'm like, I wonder if he's thinking BB means, what? And I'm like, I have no clue what BB means.
Yeah.
But
Boulder,
that started it
Boulder.
for us, man. That started it for us.
Boulder,
And
there you go.
Yeah.
And Steve, I shared Steve, like, oh my God, we could talk for a whole hour about Luke because I shared with my friend Steve the Luke story, and that was just the things you share are awesome. But I'm going to digress and let Erika go to her big question that I didn't prep you for.
This one's not hard. He's blowing it out of proportion. But we have a Spotify playlist. It's our On the Run Spotify playlist. And we invite all of our guests to choose a song to add to it. So it could be anything that just pumps you up, puts you in a good mood, just anything really. So would you like to add a song?
Yeah. How about Macklemore, the one, I forget the name of it, but it's like it's super pump up song. What is the name of it? Where are we going? It's
a great song.
You know, how does
She'll
it go?
find it. She'll find it.
I will find it.
You know what I'm talking
I actually
about?
really like. Off the top of my head, no, but guaranteed I will find it.
It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh wait,
Just
no.
in the city,
Here
don't
we
know.
go. Oh my god, hold on.
Where are we going? La 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 la.
I need
Sorry,
to like
this is-
plug my ears. Na.
Macklemore, right?
This is a
M-A-C.
moment. It's with Ryan. It's with a
Yeah.
Ryan somebody
Can't,
too.
Yeah.
It can't hold us.
That's
Yes.
it. That's it. That's the winner. That is such a good.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That
awesome.
one.
Yeah, that's a pump up song for sure.
You know, one
Nailed it.
of my favorites that you play on YouTube is Wonders.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one when I just want to chill out.
Do
or
you want
just
two
have
songs? You
background
want
music.
two?
No, I don't need
One-
two songs. You can go.
Wonders
with
might already
Macklemore.
be. I might have added that one to it already. Well, I wouldn't say that's the one I would listen to right before I run, but that's like I love it with your drone videos. That's like the perfect drone video song.
Yeah. You know, another good pump up song is Blur Song 2.
Yes.
Oh,
my
of
God.
course.
That
I
one's
remember the
definitely a good-
first time I heard that song.
Yeah, that's a good pump up song for sure.
That took me forever to actually know what that song was called. You would hear that song all the time, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what the hell this song is, but and it's song 2 of all
It was-
of all
I was-
names. So good.
I was in the 5th grade, and at the time there was no Google machine where you could go, "What's the woohoo song?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
This was awesome. Listen, I want to give you a moment to promote your book. I've yet to buy it. I will be buying your book, and
I'm excited to read it.
and also just to promote your channel and what you do. I'm going to give you the floor here. You can, I want you to
It's yours.
pump. Yeah, it's yours. The floor is yours.
So, Amelia read my book before it was released, and she tells me, she's like, wow, it was actually really good. I was like, oh, thanks.
Question mark?
Actually really good. So, yeah, I wrote a book about my bike ride home from Honduras. It's called The Long Way Home. It's an adventure story, but kind of a coming-of-age story, and kind of talks about how it led to a life of adventure and connecting with humans. There's a lot of heartwarming stories in it of people who took good care of me all the way home from Honduras to Boulder. You can get it at duzerbook.com. That's the website for it. I printed it, as you know, in the most eco-friendly way possible, 100% recycled paper. No trees were cut down in the making of my book. And get this, the ink is algae-based ink, so it's non-toxic, very environmentally friendly. And so it's really like the most eco a book can be, and I'm really proud of that. Because of that, the book is a little bit more expensive than your typical paperback. It even comes shipped. I bought all the mailers for it that are also 100% recycled. You can just toss this stuff into the ground and it will decompose. No plastic involved in my book.
Well done. Well done.
That's my book, and that's what I'm most excited about right now, duzerbook.com. And then if you just Google my name, you'll find my YouTube channel. It's Duzer TV. That's where I put my heart and my soul and what I really care about. I'm on all the other socials, but YouTube is what I really care about.
You guys got to check it out. I fell in love with this guy and his videos when I was just on a dummy bike trainer, and I am very envious of all your adventures and the guys and the people you meet. I think everyone is very jealous of Mira and John, mostly Mira. But yeah, your adventures are awesome. Like I said, we could do a whole episode, and we will one day on just your biking adventures and some of these amazing, beautiful Cuba. You went to Cuba with Dana, and you rode around Cuba. That was so cool. So, guys, if you're watching this YouTube channel, it's like you'll never watch anything else again. You'll just be binge watching all Duzer videos.
You'll probably watch Ted
spectacular.
Lasso. So
I've never
love
seen Ted Lasso.
You'll love Ted Lasso. I mean, I love people call me like the adventure Ted Lasso.
I can see that. Oh,
Yeah.
it's so wholesome.
It's wholesome and fun and goofy and dorky, it's just like me.
Perfect.
Love it. Ryan, thank
Well,
you
yeah.
so much for doing this.
You got it.
Ryan's
I'm
got
psyched.
a lot more adventures, and we can't wait to hear more from you. So
Well, and I'm proud of you too. Episode 50. This is a big deal. Keep moving forward. And if you ever need any help or anything, you let me know. And I hope you come out here for some races in Colorado someday.
Well,
Yes,
same goes for you. If you're ever up this way, you hit us
Yeah.
up. We'll
Yep.
we'll have a good time together.
And
Sounds
this
awesome.
way doesn't mean New Hampshire. If you're just in the Northeast, it's not a far drive for us.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll come. We'll pick you up. We'll take you on an adventure. We'll take my minivan because it's eco-friendly with the hybrid.
Yeah, there we
Nailed
go.
it.
Yeah, I'm a minivan dad now. I drive a minivan
Oh.
around, and I love it. So it's so cool.
Good. I like it, man. I like it.
You were the man. Again, thank you so much for coming on and doing this. We'll see you in another 50 episodes.
I'll be there.
All right.
Thank you so
Ryan.
much, Ryan. Thank you.
Everybody, Ryan Van Duzer on the On the Runs podcast. How about that?